I feel like it's a trying. Look.
Come on, Bob, Brittany.
You got 9 kisses. You cook me one of them.
Ain't with me. Nice is nice to go to the side, but. Yeah. Oh, nothing else. And people are doing it night. Boom. Boom. Oh, Brandon, you might want to take the thing off the tripod right now just so you can get a close up. You can't, can you know take it off the tripod? I don't really want to spend it more so she can get her blowing off the thing. Alone, and I have to keep it low. Straight. All right. Y'all ready? Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Morgan. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Yay! She's 1 year old. All right.
Spit out the candles.
All right. It says happy birthday, Morgan.
Wait, Bob, be still.
No, Bob,
no, not you.
Not yet. Okay.
That's more.
All right. All right, Morgan. Yeah, okay. Get a close up, Brenda. She gonna blow the cake. Can't touch it. Look, can't touch. Maybe she grab the strawberry.
So.
Blow. Hi. Say hi. All right, Bob, you come help her blow it then. You come help her blow it, Bob.
Oh, he can get it from there. Blow.
Can you do it over here? Come over here and do it. Come over here and do it. Come over here and do it. Bob, come over here and do it.
Come over here and do it.
Come over here.
Come over here and do it.
That does not compute. That does not compute. That does not compute. That does not compute.
All right, you ready?
Wait a second. Bob, get closer.
All right, Morgan.
All right, go.
Yay! All right. We got pig noses and elephant noses.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all you can take some hats.
I'm in charge of the noses. Y'all
I'm
get what
gonna
I
give
give
y'all.
y'all.
And you're not gonna get one.
See you with none of Chicago good stuff yet.
Disney World, June. He wanted Disney World, June.
What you want, Bob?
What you want, Rick? I got pictures of him. I got pictures of him with him.
I tell you what.
Look, clips for it. Brittany, Morgan gets. Here's your hat. You want that hat? Come here, Brittany. Want this hat? That's a lion nose. That's a lion nose.
Oh, wait a minute.
Chris.
Somebody's child done done
Hit
something. It's between yours.
Hit the light switch.
CJ, here's your hat. And here's your noise maker. Okay, now we're gonna let Morgan open her present. Morgan, let's open your present. All right. You want to tear it open? We'll bring the ice cream in a minute. You want to tear it? Look, you don't want to.
Open your present.
Here, you got it.
Bridget, look.
Yep.
Oh, you look.
Yep. You know what I mean? CJ. Oh,
you're a peacock. You're a peacock.
all right, Morgan. Here, let's open your present.
With your elephant nose.
Let's open your present.
Bob, you and Brittany stand together, Bob. Bob,
Open your present.
Bob, put your elephant nose back on. Look at Daddy. Bob, look at me.
Morgan, open your present.
If you start opening shit.
Here, Morgan, look.
Look at me and my kids.
I don't know. Look, Morgan.
Morgan,
I
open
can
it.
take the stereo on. Let them boogie woogie.
Oh,
Morgan, a doll baby. All right. Chris, you know what this doll is? From Tan Line. A company called Tan Line.
What, black or red?
Okay.
Morgan.
And Morgan, your own private telephone.
Wait.
Your own private telephone.
She don't know dog, baby.
Now, Mama, open your telephone.
Everybody waiting for this.
Yeah, Morgan, who you gonna call?
This should be crazy.
You ain't seen it. That's the one I took to you, Brandon. You get this, buddy.
one that's on High Street.
Mom, make it walk.
That's what we saw the turn.
What she ain't gonna last. You better get used to it when you start making walk.
Don't it bark too?
No.
I need to make it back.
Oh, I
I did
know.
the wrong thing,
Hammer,
man. I should pick this up on the rag in there.
But I know,
Oh, Morgan.
they were talking
This is
about
dog.
Rubbing for a child.
Oh, look at that.
Dog. Look at your dog. Look at your dog.
Wait a minute.
Ronnie, make her laugh.
Look, Morgan. Look.
Pretty.
Look, Morgan.
Sherlock dog.
y'all let Morgan see it first.
Look,
Let
Morgan see it.
Morgan see it first so she can get
Give
back.
me time.
Whoever's birthday is not get back.
Wait. Y'all let Morgan see it, and then you all can see it because you all are afraid of it.
Boom. Dad, get careful.
Let me get used to it.
See?
They're supposed to be cheaper than hotels
Yeah.
and really efficient to run.
What is that?
Not like Marvin.
Ronnie, put the dog out there so I can get a picture.
And if you're still running, it can be limited to a continental breakfast with a regular. They don't offer you any dessert.
Back off.
Remember that book you had?
Okay, look, see the dog? Look.
I'll make them walk.
Press the button. Yeah, let mommy hit the button. Let mommy hit the button.
Let's see what's in Nelson.
Hit.
Let CJ press the button.
CJ.
Over here so I can get a
CJ.
picture. Look at my picture.
Oh, there's a nice dog. A nice doggy. A nice doggy.
Peach bowl head. Get back.
I want you to stay right here.
That's a nice doggy. Don't push the button off. Am I scared right now? Dog? Yes, the dog brush.
Show you how beautiful this
See
is.
it?
Look, see how beautiful it is, man. That's why I just took a couple scenery pictures just to take away from people.
Let her come a little.
See that?
The girl can sing, man. She ain't just never been real pop.
But she's playing more. She's doing more gospel.
Yeah, she's not real
She's
singing.
doing really good.
Pretty voice, man.
Yeah. Oh, the little
Denise.
Ah, best
she's
baby,
really
bye.
sing.
That is cute.
Oh, Morgan.
What?
You're not just standing. Breakfast. You're standing.
Make it back up, Brittany. There you
Peach
go.
bowl.
There you go.
Home video.
Home video, Ronnie. Home video. Watch mom climb the chair.
It's just like that little boy who got that,
Dinosaur.
well, the only other one that I know of, the one we had in section, and it's either
CJ.
one or two
Move.
on High Street.
Go over there.
Come here, CJ. One on High Street. Well, he just recently opened in the last 2 years.
Hey, can you bring the dog? Let me bring the dog.
Book of baby breakfasts. Remember that? Bring it down,
Yeah, the lady said she
got
comes
a
back.
national register, which Petersburg makes a lot of tourists from the historical.
Morgan. Morgan. Morgan.
Okay, there we go. Look, Morgan. Okay, give me Brittany.
Orange bowl.
Look, Morgan. Just let us stay right here. For both of them. All right.
Yes, and you can do that.
Okay, don't push the button. Don't push the button. Let it this dog alone.
Let me know the cat ain't gonna get it. Just let me know this whole
Make
video.
that move.
I mean, really.
Move.
Just like what we
Brittany,
had.
get over here. Get over here. Get over here. Get over here.
I can
Stay with me.
Call my mother. She can, I mean, she
Stay
can.
stay right here.
They can
Come here.
charge $15.
Come here.
Bobby! Morgan!
Then I just run it there.
Morgan! Morgan!
Look, Morgan. Look at the doggy's tail. Morgan, look at the doggy's tail.
Morgan. 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 Look. Look, Morgan. Hey, Morgan.
Y'all want some birthday cake?
Birthday cake. Birthday cake. Birthday cake.
Yeah, that's her bed, I guess.
Hey, you mean take no? Oh,
Don't do that.
Yeah, after all you need,
Don't do that.
oh, at least
you pay at least $1,000.
more.
Time for cake.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Time for cake.
Time to cut the cake.
Cake. Cake. Cake. Chris. Hey, Chris. Cake. Cake. Get out of the way, Mom. Get out of the way, Chris. Oh, wrong way.
They said cut the cheese.
Every time you go to the store or something like that,
Bring it back in your bowl. Bring it back in here.
Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah.
You want
That's
some
all right.
bread?
In period, yeah. Place where it has nice period furniture and everything else.
that place where we went for we stayed.
Yeah.
Hold it.
Hey,
Y'all got automatic codes and all
check
that
your
stuff.
number.
I done.
Huh? After you ever spend time in there?
All right.
Go with the cake.
All right, Mark, come on, let's cut the cake.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right, Morgan.
All right, Mark, let's cut the cake. You said I've been in here 4 times. Here. Hold the knife. Hold the knife. Hold the knife.
Oh.
This piece is for Morgan.
Some kind of way. Come on up.
Oh,
Hands heavy. Come on through here and search.
for Morgan.
Set up on the head.
From Tan Line. This is Morgan's very first strawberry.
Oh, you coming? Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been in there. We've been in
Right.
there.
Let grandma hold. Happy birthday, girl.
So now, if I said, this,
Yes, baby.
I
She's right in front of grandma's foot. Bobby, you don't want any birthday cake?
But now, I don't want to try to pick my nobody.
It's on. It's recording. I just got it on auto. Here, Bobby.
If I rent my house, $500, then I got $1,200. So now,
You gotta take off.
so now, I'm paying $500 for the rest of the I ain't got a soul in there.
Hey, I got something for you.
That house is twice as big as where we are now.
Don't pay your money. Yeah, I would.
And have all of that. That's why
Right up here.
And ownership. And ownership. too.
Yes,
yeah.
Own it, equity. If 3 years down the road, we turn this thing for $350,000. Of course, he's talking about putting up the damn thing. When he get here, plus the percentage that is grown in value over that time. Basically, it's an opportunity to own a house with no money down for the rest of it.
Okay, bye.
Y'all had a dance contest. You know about Jackson Brown? No, some of these.
Oh yeah, they like that.
There you go. Look at it. Look at it. Get that man.
Come on, Morgan. Come on, Morgan. Dance in the camera.
All right. If I want to put $60,000 up front, that means that'll show us how it is. We know that'll make us laugh. $60,000.
We're looking.
No, go to one dance.
It's twice as big as where we are now.
That's the music. The dancing.
It's about half the size of the building.
Y'all get the dog.
And it's just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She go over the
It's about half the size of where we are now.
He may be the best out of the bunch.
$50 now.
That's why you do it that way.
Take a bath up.
Don't do that now.
How you feel?
You need to stop now. Cold season.
Go on, CJ.
You have two dancers in the family.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Bob look like a Watusi. Because he's so tall and lanky and he get it.
Camera. It's working.
It's a quarter.
Brittany, why you haven't danced?
That's the one I think I turn in. Wow. This video.
Let me put on that table, boy. You need to go.
Watch out, Morgan.
Bob was an athletic.
Don't make him move. Just let me chill here. Don't make him fall. Let me chill so she can get used to it. She's coming to it.
She dancing right
She
there.
can move it.
Bob was an athletic man.
She not moving the dog.
That's the one that makes you walk.
We doing the, well, let's go.
Yeah, Bob break that.
Trying to
Bob
figure
break
it
You
that.
don't know Rick dance.
Go on, Rick.
Look at Morgan.
Go on, see
Bob
that.
is lanky.
Look at CJ, really.
Get that box out of the box. Judy, put that box for it.
No, wait, 'cause you want to jump over and
No,
She's
Bob.
pulling
No.
closer. She said that's too close. She's pulling to it, but she.
You got it, man.
What she do? Catch her
She
leg.
pull it to her and then she back up.
Look at Morgan, Rick. Get Morgan. Look.
Right there.
Oh, okay. You better take me too.
Let's go back.
The weather girl. Oh, she wanted the weather girl. And she made that big, the one that's supposed to be so pop.
But you know, it had a model lip singing in it. She's not a black.
But she was singing.
She was singing. I remember that song. But that's bad.
What about about that one man that who is that? Is that her singing that one too?
Yeah, she doing that one too.
What's that? That ain't y'all have that. See how?
Morgan, dance for mommy.
That's dope.
Morgan.
I mean, you hear that song on all sports and
No, I don't want it. No. Oh, no. I didn't want it. No, thank you.
You don't want to get some special birthday cake?
I might have some bouquet or something.
Put special filling in it.
You want some ice cream?
You gotta make it better than a regular cake.
not fine, folks. I'm gonna have to break it down.
Where did Morgan go? Oh, there she is. The best part about this thing is that you don't have to hold it. Listen, we got, how many birthdays in August we got?
Make it, no, cut it anyway. Make it all.
Brittany, Jones, and Cookie in August. September is you. You going to September? You want to Tony? You going to September? How about you September? I was thinking Tony birthdays in September. So Laretha.
So the young lady had no shotgun back then when you were like that. You just stay up under the sun.
You, Chris, and Bob.
He tried to shoot it to him, but December, he can't.
What kind of office y'all run? Y'all run after this to be or what? What you doing?
Okay, Marvin.
I had to float it back here, full back.
Devil's play was.
Tail back in, full back.
Football. I tell you. I had my full backfield. Right hand back. He was watching it. He fake out. Like that. Throw him off. And my left hand back. Straight across the center.
Okay.
Alright. Now, this hand back. Get hit on. Watch it. I got it right here. Get it here. Go up here. Back there here. Turn it right here like this.
Oh, come on, man.
According to the coach says, you do whatever you do as long as you don't fall.
Good.
Watch it now. I got it here. I go up here. Right? Now back down here. And give it to him. Alright, now you ask me what my fullback is doing. Alright? He can throw the ball 100 yards. He can throw the whole football field. All he doing, he bagging up there. Watch this. I go up, back down,
CJ, do the jerk.
all the way back around, pull it back to him, back
get more. Y'all get that and get more. Mama do a work too.
Thank you. Oh, just wait until we do the real one in September. You haven't had a party until you've been to a Bob and Brittany jam. Brittany's is next week and Bob's in September.
Dance with Dad. Dance with Dad. Y'all dance with your dad. Watch Marvin, y'all. Y'all watch Marvin footwork. Please. Watch.
Put my hands up, do that.
Do it on the floor.
Dance, Morgan.
She doing footwork. Look, Sean, look. Y'all get that for y'all together.
Y'all can sit that in, I'm telling you now.
Get back, Bob. Get it, Pooh. Get back. In front of the camera, get back.
Bob, here a little bit.
Bob, get back. You get Morgan.
Might be a cheerleader there. Thank you.
Where you gotta face the camera, honey?
Think about the Bob.
Put your dog in that hand, brush it with the dog shit.
Get back, Bob. You been on the camera.
Kick your leg out of the joint.
Come here, man. I know it was an accident. You alright? Oh, she didn't mean to do that.
That's the one music for
See
it.
y'all a little later.
Okay, man. Hey, we'll get together this week, man.
Huh?
We should get together
I gotta
this week.
check my schedule.
Yeah, you know, just let me know. You know me. I gotta check that day before so I can.
Well, you know when I call, I'm gonna send a tenant and tell you the time.
Go get some gum, boy. Set. Set. Bring the paper,
Thank
CJ.
you. Yeah, she said thank you. Say thank you, Morgan.
CJ,
Say
bring the
thank
paper.
you. Say thank you. Say thank you. And you know better. Say thank you.
James.
You're welcome.
James.
There she right.
James. James.
Time behind you, Cynthia. You can't throw it, Cynthia.
Started. Let's do what he's
Go, CJ. Come on, CJ. Oh, Sean, come on and come on.
Put it in. Come on, dance. Come on. Stop this more. You're breaking. Let's dance. Let's go dance. Go. Come on. Everybody go. dancing show for the kids tonight. Our first dancer for the night, Mr. Bobby Davidson. Go Bobby, go Bobby, go do it, do it Bobby. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you, Bobby. Well, he's one of the best of the art. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next dancer, Miss Brittany Jones. Go Brittany.
You got about somebody to do hers.
Go Brittany, go Brittany, go Brittany, go Brittany. And Gemma Brittany Jones. Now, our last contestant, Mr. CJ Jones. Go CJ, 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 go CJ. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, one more. Go Morgan, go Morgan, go Morgan, go Morgan, go Morgan, go Morgan.
Just take it off your dress.
All right, now, everybody just go at it. Go Bobby, go Brittany, y'all go. Do it. Woo. Go Bobby, go Brittany, go CJ, go Bobby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go Brittany, go CJ, go Bobby. All right, that was tremendous. There was no one on all time. CJ.
Let's get another song. Uncle Brandon only gave me that tape. I don't know what song.
She like that same one she just won.
Oh. Brandon, I think we to the park, honey. No, I don't think so.
Hey, man, bitch, I ain't been in Virginia Beach in 2 years.
We went last when I was pregnant. Last June.
I went way more big. You went on something then.
Yeah, we went the week before 4th of July. It was in June when we went.
Ain't much for the kids, but I always like it.
I love this.
I don't like going in the water.
I love Virginia Beach.
Here's the last you started this always. So you get order
Okay, what?
So where you go, Keith? What you go dinner where it was? It's not long as dinner. You were Virginia Beach about a couple of hours.
Hungry can be.
Dinner where it takes 2 days.
You know?
They don't never make ride like that no more in the summer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New York City. The Soul Train Dance.
It looks good this time.
Soul Train Dance Contest between a brother and a sister. And the first contestant, our defending champion, Miss Brittany Jones. Go Brittany. First up. Go Brit. The best. Go girl. Go Brit. Go Brit. Go Brit. Go Brit. Go Brit. Go Brit. Woo! Now next contestant, a little Mr. CJ Jones. He's never won a championship, but he's trying to get it for 30 years. Come on, CJ. Go CJ. Go CJ. Go CJ. Let's see this first. Go CJ. Go CJ. Go CJ. Go CJ. Go CJ. Go CJ. Ha! Say ooh. Ha! Now our last contestant, he's never won a championship, but he's ready to this is his year. He's got something new. It's called Slam Breakdance. It's Bobby Davidson. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. This is behind you. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. He said his dance incorporates aerobics and high intensity workouts. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. Go Bobby. He called this his popping a squat.
That's why
Louis Jones, Senior.
CJ.
Grandpa.
CJ.
Alright. Do everybody want them to come back on the floor and dance one more time? That's it. Put a head up. Everybody dance. Go. Dance. Go. Dance. Go. Dance. Go.
Camera walk.
Uh-oh. That's the one-legged hop.
Three-legged dog.
Oh, three-legged dog. He doing a new version of the dog. Uh-oh, see, babe? He's doing the crab walk.
That's my favorite.
Come on, let's be ready. That's right, I meant to do it. Say it. Come here, you get her. Pop your get her. That's right, I'm gonna whoop her butt. Who you talking about? Get up. Do what I told you. What?
Wow.
Why? Y'all leave me alone. Tired of y'all. I'm tired of everybody.
Just look at us dance, right?
Let's go look at you.
Look at us dance.
Why I gotta look at you dance?
Just look at us.
Why?
I couldn't. You pick me up. You pick me up. You pick me up. You pick me with this arm.
Go, guys. Y'all just
Look, Daddy, okay, take it off.
dance and leave me alone.
Look, Daddy.
Dance your sister. Yes, you see that. She said hold hands. Oh, she on the floor and sister. Y'all hold hands. Dance. You can yellow the roller. Don't go to spin you in. Now for you to pull down. There you go. Then you do all the work. Go dance, you go. There you go. So when you're young, you did it, you know, I guess probably dated, but has dance ever been appealing to you? I know you did it to fit in, but you know, has that ever been the thing you just enjoyed?
I'm gonna tell you. When I was 4 years old, I did James Brown spit jump off the tables and slide and everything. I've always loved that. When Pop?
So I've done more dance to music than I ever done on my life.
I tell you.
Now, the dance is just
In my younger days, I went there and was dancing, and I did it because it fit in, you know, you do it to meet people, do everything, but dancing ain't never turned me, it ain't never turned me on. I like some music, I like to listen to some music.
I know you like music.
But it just ain't never.
But just to get up and dance.
The main reason because I don't think I was never as good as a lot of people. I mean, I ain't
Well,
never
a lot of people were super. Well, a lot of folks were super when I was coming along too. Always somebody super. You see these kids going to some of them pop out. I'm over the shop there now. I just thought I got this thing sharp. What do I do to play it up?
Oh, it's over?
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, I know it's not.
You coming over there?
Yeah, I got it.
If I pull the door together, what'll happen? Long door.
Be all right.
I don't know which cuts it off.
No, I get it. No problem.
You got a parking knife or something.
I don't know where my parking knife is. Ain't got no
Well, I
right.
ain't got nothing. Check the balance on this thing.
I ain't got a. Might use a knife, but I just got a sheet made or something. I ain't got no idea where it's at.
Susie, where's your shirt?
All right.
Oh, Lord, Lord.
Let's go put it on, Bob.
Be right much work in that backyard, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well,
You got, you know,
yeah.
the only thing you need press to do it.
But we get back there. Paul,
You run a race,
man.
tear that stuff up in Maine, no time.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't take no time. Put different little walkways. We got some walkways around and clean the stuff up. I don't think it would take too much pictures up. It's just messy like it is.
So that's the biggest house in the biggest 18 house.
It probably is. I ain't man. 23 rooms a lot.
What these horns? Y'all still paying the horns? You should still pay the horns.
Even if all in on one of them. That's a lot of space.
Yeah, keep you right here. Next one.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. What that book says.
Because I know you doing mermaid for Bob.
You get 10 bedrooms, 23 rooms, bro. That's a lot of space.
Really got those turmoils. Boys can't wait.
They have some big window floors in.
Yeah. We got room up back there for basketball thing, but I don't think there's enough room there to put no fence.
Is that front where that driveway is? Is that too narrow?
Ain't no way. You right now. When you do basketball,
And the back part of the fence, ain't gonna be no space.
I mean, green paper and this. I don't think so.
It may be that.
You know some kind of way to really so you got nets all in where don't be going all over.
Oh yeah, you have to do that. You have to do it like you do one of the things where you are.
Two houses on that street.
Yeah, he owned that Hamilton house and the house right next to it.
Cynthia said he did. She said she never went there.
She said he does or did?
So he did. She said he remodeled both houses and had one for older men and one for older women. And he couldn't get enough men in that summer, so then he just changed it up and had it. I said, both of them for women.
Not like something like a old home, something for the old.
Some kind of way he rented it. Said, hell, we're going to let him pay for it. He remodeled.
Okay.
Wow. George Foreman showed that these young fighters out here really don't have anything. They take a lot of the other stuff outside of the boxing rings and try to put it in the boxing, and it don't work. George Foreman showed a lot, and George Foreman is just a big, strong guy that really don't have a whole lot. Never really had a whole lot, only the punch. But he showed that these guys are not made out of anything.
You're talking about George Foreman in the ring. Is there anything out of the ring that has stuck with you about Foreman? Foreman was not a particularly popular fighter his first time around, and you as a champ, a reign of like 8 years, never really won the hearts of the fans. Do you see something there? Do you see a new window of opportunity on that end of the boxing game?
Well, yeah, you know, I always was a blue-collar fighter. You know, I fought for the people. George Foreman, he was the same way. Muhammad Ali, he fought for everybody. You know, he had the charisma, he had the gift of gab, and he brought a new light into boxing. And when he did it, it was hard for anybody to follow it, because if they did, they'd say, well, you're acting and sounding like Muhammad Ali. You couldn't be yourself, so it was hard. I was in a no-win situation, you know, because I would damn if I do and damn if I don't. Even when I fought Muhammad Ali, if I won, he was too old. If I lost, I never was nothing. But, you know, hey, I won a lot of people over, in spite of my 2 losses to Michael Spinks, which I felt that both of the fights was questionable. I know the second one was really questionable. But I think I won a lot of people over, knowing that I was the fighter that I was, held the title for 7.5 years, as you said, and defended it with anyone and everyone who wanted to fight, as long as I was compensated. And that what made me the outstanding boxer that I was.
Well, what do you think the biggest mistake you ever made that you could admit to now?
The biggest mistake that I ever made was when I probably...
What does Larry Holmes weigh in at the age of 41? Well, let's check out the Tums tail of the tape. Holmes at 6'3", 238 pounds. During most of his reign, he was around 218. For the fight against Tyson, he was 227. So 238. Holmes will take that now in his second comeback fight. He's no George Foreman, but at 238. And Gonzalez at 249 has been on the Bigfoot Martin diet. He has ballooned up. Gonzalez started his career as a cruiserweight. You see the big reach advantage. Larry Holmes, one thing he still brings in the ring is that great jab. Sean, how do you match them up on the blackboard?
For the former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes, shoot friendly fire upstairs. Use slow, playful punches to the head. Get Eddie blocking those punches, then stay low. Go underneath to the body. Stay downstairs, and you'll make this a short night. Your opponent, Eddie Gonzalez, you know he'll come right after you, so use movement early. Aging fighters slow down, so increase your speed and come on strong and hard late. Remember, Eddie, the last thing that a fighter loses is his punch, so watch out for Larry's power.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alessi Promotions presents main event, 10 rounds, heavyweights. Your referee from Tampa, Florida is Max Parker Jr. Judges at ringside are Darrell Brown, Tom Brown, and Wilson Robinson. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first in the red corner to my right, wearing black trunks, white trim, weighing 249 pounds, his professional record, 26 wins, 13 defeats, 1 draw, with 15 knockouts, from Houston, Texas, Eddie Gonzalez. His opponent, wearing white trunks, red trim, weighing 238 pounds, pro record, 49 wins, 3 defeats, 35 knockouts. He hails from Easton, Pennsylvania, and is currently ranked number 9 by the World Boxing Council. Former heavyweight champion of the world, the Easton Assassin, Larry Holmes. 10 rounds, heavyweights.
Larry Holmes working the psych game into the comeback. Max Parker Jr., the referee.
I'm going to lose in the dressing room from this point until the end of the bout. You obey all my commands. I wish you both luck. Touch gloves, come out box on the belt.
This is the sight game, much like George Foreman. What Larry's trying to do is get Gonzalez to come after him, because when you're a power puncher and you got your opponent running into your shots, it's easier to knock him out.
Well, what do you think of the shape of Larry Holmes?
I am really shocked at Larry for not being sweaty here in the opening round. He said he was going to start fast, but when you start fast on cold muscles, you're going to pull a muscle, maybe even get caught. Now, Eddie Gonzalez is not known as a knockout puncher.
Larry Holmes made his first fight on this comeback in April, taking out Tim Anderson, who is actually a cruiserweight in 1 round. And Holmes is already ranked in the top 10 by the WBC, ranked number 9. When asked about that, Holmes says they were very generous. It took George Foreman 3 years before he was acknowledged in the top 10 by the rankings.
That's after his big win over Tim Anderson now. Actually, he's a fighter that hasn't been out 10 years like George Foreman was.
Believe it or not, Eddie Gonzalez says after this fight, if he is not victorious, he will try to get back to the cruiserweight division, where he won 22 of his first 23 fights and was a marginal contender at that level. I asked him how you expect to do that, get down from 249 pounds, and he says hard work and slim face. But right now it is Holmes barreling, and he knows that Eddie Gonzalez is not a threat to him, but he also knows that Eddie Gonzalez has built a reputation as a survivor, and he has the crowd behind him chanting Eddie. So Larry Holmes looking to pick up more respect in the second time, or if you're keeping score the third time around, and not getting it from this crowd at the outset. But Eddie Gonzalez has gone the distance his last 9 fights, as we mentioned before, just a year ago with Riddick Bowe, a little before that Alex Garcia, who's certainly shown a pretty good wallop, as Blue Fenton. And Gonzalez, who has sparred with Tyson the last few fights, Erlen Norris in the past with Michael Spinks and Tony Tubbs and Pinklin Thomas. He is a professional heavyweight. But he can make a fighter look bad. We just have to look back last week. Everett Martin and Bone Crusher Smith. Martin had the reputation of being able to hang in there. Martin went the distance with Foreman, and at least Bone Crusher was able to take him out in the eighth. So that a little bit of a yardstick. You think Larry Holmes is using Gonzalez as a yardstick against Riddick Bowe, who went 8-round distance with Gonzalez?
Definitely. One of the things that a fighter, we've seen a lot of them like Eddie Gonzalez, what they do is they fight that circuit. They get beat this month. Next month they'll be in Washington getting beat. The month after they go to Oregon or California, they get beat on that circuit. And what fighters on their way up try to do, if this guy goes the distance with Holmes, like he did with Bowe, somebody coming up is going to try to knock him out, then draw a correlation between the two.
Closing seconds of the first round. It is scheduled for 10.
They ate the same lunch, got the same heartburn, but his antacid is very different. His Tums has calcium. Most antacids don't. Regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt. This uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. Of all these, only Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need every day.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Calcium-rich Tums. That's the one you want.
Join us ringside in Tampa. Larry Holmes. Former champ hearing it from his corner after round one.
Safety first. Step to the side. Bang him in the ribs. Feint him with the jab. Feint him with the jab. Then let the right hand and left hook underneath.
Seconds out. We approach the second round.
Larry Holmes with a busy schedule ahead. He wants to fight in another 11 days in Hawaii, although that fight at this point is not set, and then come back in a couple of weeks and fight perhaps here in Florida again. He wants to get as much work in, and as you are seeing here, this looks like nothing more than just a workout for Holmes under the lights and in front of a crowd and a national TV audience.
Well, sure it is. You got to get back to learning, reacquainting yourself with how to win fights. Larry still has that terrific jab, though. If you take a look at Eddie Gonzalez's right foot, it's pointed out at a perpendicular angle to his front foot. That's called your foot in the bucket. What that means to a heavyweight, if you can hit him with a left hook, Gonzalez will go down.
And Holmes right now also working on different things. He says he's working on power. He knows at 41, the things to go first were the things that he needed. And he was a reigning champion for over 7 years. The mobility and the speed. He knows he still has the jab, but he's trying to work more on the power. Whether he'll have enough power against the heavyweights of this time remains to be seen.
And that is one thing that's really dangerous for him, because he in the past has been great at zeroing in on his opponent whenever he's ready to go. Sometimes it took 12, 15 rounds to get his opponent to a place where he could put him away. Now, if he's starting fast like he is here in this match, what's going to happen to him later in a fight? He's been a terrific, intelligent fighter in the past, but with burning himself out, so content on slugging with his opponent, that could be dangerous. He wants to fight like George Foreman, but he does not bring the power that Big George has.
George Foreman, of course, at this stage in his comeback, took tremendous criticism and flack from press, the media, fans who thought it was just a joke that he was coming back. And ironically, some of the people who were most vicious ended up joining forces with Foreman in big paydays. And because of Foreman going through that, I don't think Larry Holmes will get as much intense criticism from the people in-house in the business, because they see down the line a big money payday with a Foreman, and a lot of these people probably see it as an easy big payday.
And he's not fighting the competition. You know, George was fighting all cruiserweights. There's no question about this man, Eddie Gonzalez. He's a heavyweight. In fact, if there were a super heavyweight division, he'd be in it.
Along with Bigfoot Martin. Final seconds of round number 2. Crowd here wants a little more action.
This is where it happened. The breakthrough in urethane chemistry that created a car polish so technologically advanced, one application lasts an entire year. Introducing Finish 2001, the car polish you use only once every 12 months. This old car's been badly neglected. Its finish appears destroyed. With no rubbing, no buffing, Finish 2001 with its urethane formula safely brings back the showroom shine. A rich, deep gloss shine that lasts an entire year. We tested Finish 2001 against other leading polishes, even some that claim to protect your car against fire or against acid. And the test results? Nothing, but nothing protects or shines better than Finish 2001. The 12-month car polish with a 100% money-back guarantee.
Finish 2001 is available at these fine stores.
It is round number 3. Larry Holmes now on his toes for the first time in this fight, closing in on Eddie Gonzalez. Gonzalez says he wants to get inside of Holmes to take away the jab. He has not done that to this point. He also wanted to move a lot, make Holmes work, get those old legs going, and take him into the later rounds when Holmes' legs will be gone. But so far, Holmes' legs haven't had to go anywhere in the first couple of rounds. Gonzalez not moving Holmes around at all.
No, it's so frustrating to box a fighter like Gonzalez. I mean, he's in there just to last. He doesn't want to get hit, not really win the fight. He just wants to make you look bad.
And
like
he's done that to many fights.
Very true, and he's like coming into this match without even a fight plan to win. Now, he did have a fight plan for this. Said he was going to use side-to-side movement, which we haven't seen, make Larry come to him, which has happened. And then he said he's going to make Larry use those old legs. Pushing with those punches, the power comes from your legs. You're bending those knees and driving with that canvas with your toes and your feet. Break down those legs.
Take a look at Larry Holmes at 6'3", 238 pounds. He says he's in better shape now. He feels in better shape than when he fought Mike Tyson back in January of 1988 and was taken out in 4 rounds. He said it was a mistake to fight Tyson cold without a tune-up. Did not think he was properly trained. He actually was sent up to fight Bert Cooper in a tune-up in January. Then the Tyson fight was moved up to January, and Foreman relates that it was put to him either take the Tyson fight or not, and he did not want to blow the $3 million, and he took the Tyson fight. But he says he's at a better stage now than Tyson, and then you wonder how he came back and stepped in the ring against Tyson. Larry Holmes' wife, Diane, and his young son watching on at ringside, watching Larry Holmes embarking on the new career. Reigned for 7 years as a heavyweight champ. Only Joe Louis, who reigned for 12 years longer in a heavyweight division. How will this comeback affect Larry Holmes, his place in history? He says he doesn't think it'll affect what he's already done. This is just another chapter. Taking a look at how far it could go. No question, the influence on Holmes' comeback is George Foreman's success. Closing seconds of round number 3, Gonzalez surviving as we expected.
Before you paint with a brush, consider the Wagner Power Painter. It has precision control, a convenient backpack for big jobs, and it paints smoothly over cracks and tough surfaces. Wagner, not just a whole lot faster, a whole lot better.
If scratching your crotch were a crime, there'd be guys sent to jail all the time. Pretty harsh, I should think, to be put in the clink. Surely scratching deserves just a fine.
Crowex kills jock itch fungus. Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
Fourth round action. Eddie Gonzalez on the left, Larry Holmes on the right. I don't think Gonzalez has yet to land a punch in this fight. Sean, when you look out at Larry Holmes, what are some of the things you feel Holmes learned from watching Foreman's comeback that he will put into his presentation in the ring?
Well, you know, we already talked about the power, but something else that is of vital importance is yesterday he was talking to the media and going around meeting people, shaking hands. At this point, that's what he needs. That's what got Foreman the title fight with Evander Holyfield. All the people who wanted to see George get his shot. That was the big talk in boxing. Now he has taken that and is trying to use that for his own good. Larry gave a 3-hour interview yesterday.
Foreman just setting it up. Gonzalez along the ropes, taking whatever is dished out. You know, Foreman, as we talked to Holmes about in the interview, Foreman was not exactly the most popular of champions in his first reigns. Amazing the 360 that he did, and Larry Holmes was never taken into the hearts of the boxing fans. There was certainly no adulation for him in a rough spot coming off of Muhammad Ali, and I think he sees another window of opportunity to win some hearts back, become the good guy, certainly a personal man as good as Larry Holmes, and trying to take the opportunity of the spotlight and a quote legend coming back, certainly admired for the task that he accomplished of 7 years reigning champion.
A couple of good right hands by Larry Holmes.
Lining up Eddie Gonzalez here in the fourth.
And this is where Eddie's at his best. When he gets hit, he really concentrates on moving out of the way of his opponent's punches. Now, has Larry Holmes forgotten about that body? Nice big target down there, and it's easier to punch a guy in the body. You don't hurt your hands, especially when the body is like Eddie Gonzalez. Gonzalez, he is an expert at eating. Loves his mother-in-law's cooking. Dolores Romero picks up that Mexican food down in San Antonio.
And that's the greatest compliment to Dolores.
Well, I'm hoping that we get down there to San Antonio so I can have some of that Mexican food. Maybe I'll come back as Eddie Gonzalez's opponent.
Well, if you eat that, you'll be up to 249 in a hurry. Gonzalez has been stopped only 4 times in his 40-fight career, has not been stopped in the last 3 years. That's what's standing in front of Larry Holmes. Holmes knew that. You know, Gonzalez is a carefully selected opponent. We'll pause for our local stations.
If goldfish cost $2 each at El Tropical and 99 cents at Silverman's, you'd buy your goldfish at Silverman's, right? So buy your Honda at West Broad Honda.
These phone calls can mean freedom from abuse, the streets, drugs and alcohol, constant family battles. If you're a kid or a parent with a problem, call the Boys Town National Hotline, 1-800-448-3000. From Boys Town, the hometown of help and hope for America's children and families.
For the last 7 years, GRIP, Greater Richmond Informed Parents, has actively worked in the Metro Richmond community to try and prevent the use of illegal drugs and the illegal use of alcohol by our kids. We now are proud to join forces with Cardinal Drug Centers. Through their sponsorship, we are able to produce the program Kids and Drugs. So please, won't you join GRIP and Cardinal Drug Centers every other Thursday night from 7 to 8 live on Blab TV.
Fifth round action. Larry Holmes trying to turn it up quickly here against the fire plug Eddie Gonzalez, who has the fans chanting for him. Gonzalez at the age of 31, a record of 26-13-1 with 15 knockouts, but his last knockout came in 1984. And that was before he made his step into the heavyweight division. He was 22-1 as a cruiserweight.
And that was the last time that he fought in his home state of Texas. Ever since then, he's been on the road. So for him to be here, hearing this crowd chant, Eddie, 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 it's going to give him more confidence.
A very likable young man, and says if he wins this, well, maybe I'll stay in the heavyweight division. If he loses this, there's a major assault at the diet ahead. He says he'll try to get back down to cruiserweight. You're talking 190 pounds. That's 59 pounds to take off.
And what motivation to get you to win a fight. Stay at this weight.
That's right. He's dangling the best carrot in front of his face. Actually, he said he was having problems getting down to keeping that cruiserweight weight. He had lost a 10-rounder to John Odhiambo, then was stopped in 4 by Marvin Johnson back in 1984, and was out of the ring for a few years and decided to come back as a heavy. But he has now been over around 240 and over for the last 3 fights going back to April of last year. It's going to be some chore to get down to 190. He's used to this weight now for the last year and a half.
You know, it's really deceiving, too, because you see the belly around the midsection, the extra pounds, and you think this guy can't go the rounds, but he does have a lot of stamina. Real strong fighter. He comes from good bloodlines, too. His father, former rated welterweight. Manning watching in from Houston, Texas tonight. Welterweight king, he beat Emil Griffith in a non-title fight in January of 1965. He lost a rematch, which was for the title. Also, Curtis Koch, the same thing, non-title fight, he won. Manny Gonzalez, the son just gets hit with a right hand.
Some punching blows by Larry Holmes, and Eddie Gonzalez shaking him all off.
Look at these little feints by Gonzalez. Those are feinting Larry out of position. Now, Larry is a wonderful feiner himself. He usually controls with those feints and then that terrific left jab. But look at this man. He's got the crowd going, playing to the audience.
Eddie Gonzalez, moment in the sun.
You are on a stage in that ring, and every moment that you use up there is yours.
The guy is tired, dead tired. He's dead tired.
They're telling him that Larry Holmes is tired. Well, if you're looking for a knockout, you'll see one next week. Riddick Bowe versus Bruce Seldon. They fought Friday in Atlantic City, and we'll have the broadcast of the entire fight, and also a look at Bobby Ches in his defense of the WBA Cruiserweight Championship. The very popular Ches keeps on rolling along, and he faced Bas Ali. You'll see all that next week right here on USA's Tuesday Night Fights. Well, do you agree with Eddie Gonzalez's corners? Larry Holmes getting tired as he moves into the second half of the scheduled 10-rounder.
He is definitely tired. There is no question about that. But when fighters are in shape, they get that second win earlier, and then they can go all night. Everybody's going to get tired. You get tired in every fight you ever have. But the better shape you're in, the more that you get that second win, the earlier you get it.
Well, this is where Eddie Gonzalez, average-wise, ends the fight, but I don't think he'll come in on the average tonight. It has been all Larry Holmes.
Eddie Holmes.
The only thing that Gonzalez has won so far is the crowd. Could you imagine if we matched up Eddie Gonzalez against Bigfoot Martin and told them you fight until the end? How many rounds do you think that thing will go?
You know something where matchmakers get in trouble is they put a turkey with an eagle. If they match 2 eagles together, it's a great fight, but that's an obvious fight. And most of the time, almost all the time, you match the 2 turkeys together and it's a good fight. The one doesn't want the other one to show him up.
Not calling Eddie Gonzalez a turkey.
No, not at 230 and 249 pounds. I'm not. He's got lots of guts, I'll tell you that. They're all hanging right over his belt line there.
Halfway through the 6th.
I say that, and he does have a lot of guts. I mean, get in the ring with Larry Holmes, you know, who is a former heavyweight champion of the world. You have a lot to lose.
We talked to Eddie Gonzalez about that before the fight, and he was kind of golly gee whiz in awe of the man he was stepping in the ring with. But
well, he's a pro. He's been around. He has lost before. He's been beaten before. He's gone the distance before. He's been knocked out. He's been through it all. Raised around this fight game from his father, Manny. Raised in the gyms. He knows how to fight. Nothing new. It's a shame you couldn't take Eddie Gonzalez's experience and give it to the young Obakar. By the time fighters get the experience they need, their careers are over. That's why you have to rely on the old men in the corner, the men who have been there, the men who have been through it. They can tell you how to win these fights.
Something Bobby Ches told us Friday in Atlantic City. He says it's taken him 10 years to relax in the ring and know how to fight. Fortunately for Bobby Ches, he's still just 29. Final 10 seconds of the 6th round.
This is where Eddie Gonzalez wanted to take Larry Holmes. Let's see if he'll come on.
The limited edition GMC Cyclone. Technology that speaks for itself. In fact, your GMC truck dealer would like to show you only one more Cyclone feature.
I like what shampoo and conditioner do for my hair, but I love what Pert Plus does for me. Pert Plus is a unique shampoo and conditioner in one, so my hair turns out just the way I like it. Clean, conditioned, looking great, but without the bother of 2 bottles. Imagine, hair I like without the fuss. That's what Pert Plus does for me. If only everything in my life was so simple.
Wash and go with Pert Plus. Also in dandruff control.
And we move into the 7th round. On his toes is Larry Holmes. His first comeback in April. First round knockout over Doc Anderson. Now he's looking to turn up the heat. This is where Bone Crusher Smith turned up the heat against Everett Bigfoot Martin last week. You're Larry Holmes now. How do you think you're grading out this performance?
And right now, in seeing him go back to his corner, he's a little frustrated that he's not been able to put out Eddie Gonzalez, but many a men have tried that in the past and they've failed. Right now he's got to throw that out the window. As far as how he looks, well, he still knows how to fight. He's got the experience. He's got that beautiful left jab. You know, and the terrific strategy. I mean, he's really smart. He's thinking inside the ring in complete control. I think, though, that now what we're going to see from Larry Holmes, we're going to see a change between this fight and his next fight out. Next fight, he'll go back to the old Larry Holmes that was wise and smart. He would pick his opponent apart if it took him, 8 rounds or 10 rounds.
He has to have the
rounds.
legs to be able to do that.
Very true.
He may never get those legs back.
And that's why his comeback may never be successful. The first thing that goes on a fighter is his speed and his timing. Second are those legs.
By watching Holmes in this fight, can you make a projection on whether he may be successful in this comeback, or is this just too early to get into that?
Are we talking about successful as far as becoming the heavyweight champion of the world?
To fight
again?
the guys he wants to fight eventually.
No, I think what has happened in boxing since he's retired, all these young fighters have come up there, a couple of good left jabs from Gonzalez. All the young fighters have taken the place of the older fighters. It happens in nature, it happens in life, it happens in sports, and it happens in boxing. Now with the new breed, that's where he's going to feel really, really old. Against the Eddie Gonzalez's of the world and the Everett Bigfoot Martins, he'll look great, he'll look fine. But when he goes up against the younger fighters, that's where he's really going to look slow.
And again, Gonzalez gets in. He's been most effective, and Holmes comes back, and Holmes, not appreciating the shots by Gonzalez, goes a little low with that left hand.
You've got to take control. I can see the shots coming, but I just can't get out of the way. You see him watching the shots, and he just doesn't move quick enough, Larry Holmes.
Gonzalez just sitting there in the corner, trying a little shift from side to side. Holmes went into this fight knowing that Gonzalez was a type of fighter that's not going to make you look good. That matter, you give credit for Larry Holmes to take a fighter of that nature.
An example of sparring partner syndrome that we've talked about. Now, Eddie's been sparring with Orland Norris, preparing him for an upcoming fight. And he's got that sparring partner syndrome.
Tonight on the Adventure Channel, join explorer Marceau Soulamer as he unlocks the mystery of the Great Barrier Reef.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Burger King asks about the Whopper with bacon.
They lay the bacon side by side so it forms a solid foundation for the tomatoes and lettuce and pickles, so it doesn't tip over.
The Whopper with bacon, flame broiled, fixed fresh, and served hot. Your way, right away.
Companies come to DeVry because they like the quality of the graduates that they get here. Students are ready, when they graduate from DeVry, to be productive in a company environment from the first day they start on the job. Our students are successful. They locate jobs with good salaries, and they're happy in their jobs. They come back, in fact, to recruit other graduates.
Find out why thousands of companies have hired DeVry graduates. Call now, 1-800-247-7800. DeVry, we're serious about success.
It is round number 8. Larry Holmes in his second fight in his comeback, going up against Eddie Gonzalez. Gonzalez getting his best shots in the 7th, and he got words of encouragement from his corner, Melvin Dennis, in between rounds.
2 rounds left. Fight these 2 rounds, okay? Generate offense, okay? All right, come on. Slip them punch and hit him to the body, man. Okay? Hit him to the head. Jab him. When you stick his jab, throw the right hand. He's wide open for it. Okay? Throw your right hand. Let your right hand go, man. Okay? Look, you got 2 rounds to go. Fight. Generate an offense, okay? You get an offense.
That was Melvin Dennis in the corner of Gonzalez, a Houston middleweight back in the late 70s and early 80s. He had a record of 115 wins, 10 losses, 55 KOs, got up at one time to number 6 in the world. What they want is the right hand. They know Larry is winded. They know Larry is tired. Throw that right hand. Look at the left hand of Larry down by his waist. Defense from Eddie Gonzalez, and Larry desperately trying for that knockout, trying for the home run ball. And you know something? 41 years old, here we are in the 8th round, he still looks good. He's throwing hard punches.
But it's a fight he has never been tested. He has been all offense, he has been in control, so he's really never had to contend against an opponent's offense in this fight. And you talked about the sparring partner syndrome, and Larry Holmes very carefully, as you might imagine, picking opponents earlier. Why not pick a sparring partner? That's what he did.
And what happens when you get a fighter who has that sparring partner syndrome is they work the circuit only as a sparring partner. Now, you're paid anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a week to be a sparring partner, and your job is to be a heavy bag for your opponent. Your opponent will unload on you, and you're paid to take that punishment and try to roll with the punches, learn how to stay out of the way of the hard shots. You start winning those sparring contests, your $2,000 a week is quickly going to come to an end.
Larry Holmes, of course, started as one of the top sparring partners for Muhammad Ali, but he was then giving Ali a tougher time than opponents were giving Ali, and that's how he embarked in his pro career.
Normally what happens with sparring partners, their careers are virtually over, except for this man, Larry Holmes, who went on to have a good career.
Time Life Music presents Sounds of the 70s. The 70s were a super hot time for tunes. The hits of 1978 is just the start of your Sounds of the 70s collection. About every other month, we'll send you another album. There's no commitment. You can cancel anytime. So don't wait. Get your 1978 Master Mix for the special introductory price of only $9.99 for CD or double-link cassette. Call to make sure the hits keep on coming. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-346-8900 and use your credit card to get Sounds of the 70s at the special introductory price of just $9.99 for double-link cassette or CD, or send payment plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Sounds of the 70s, 1978, P.O. Box 1880, Department 5, Alexandria, Virginia.
Round 9 heavyweight.
Well, Larry Holmes was saying, knock this towel off my shoulder.
My right rib got cramped. My right rib.
So some problems developing for Larry Holmes. What does that all mean?
Well, when you age, your muscles start cramping too. Right there, he said it was his right rib, but those muscles over there are tightening up. Also, you got to take into consideration he's getting hit over there. Now, your body is losing an awful lot of fluid, a lot of weight, and it's pulling it right out. You have what is called a stitch. Takes it right out of your liver.
Now, what happens if he gets another cramp while he's fighting the last 2 rounds?
You know something? If Eddie Gonzalez knew the cramp over there on the right side, he could zero in on that right side and try to make Larry Holmes fold over. But Larry Holmes is not one to fold over. I saw Jerry Cooney plant a left hook to the body in the middle of his body, Larry's midsection, and he continued on.
Larry Holmes has been down just 3 times in his 52-fight career. Last time to Tyson, also to Ernie Shavers and Ronaldo Snipes, the men who have knocked down Larry Holmes. Holmes is going after his 50th victory. He was hoping he would have accomplished number 50 before defeat, but was derailed by Michael Spinks in the first of 2 controversial fights. Holmes is certainly getting the workout that he is needed to help dust the cobwebs off of 3 years of retirement. The crowd again behind Eddie Gonzalez. Larry Holmes coming back, trying to also pick up the adulation of the fans. It's not happening here tonight, but he's the prohibitive favorite. He's the heavy in this one, although hard to call him a heavy when you see Gonzalez at 249, but certainly talking in different terms. But that happened to Foreman early. It took Foreman fights along the way to finally win the crowd over, but he came in the same situation and more of a prohibitive favorite than some of the fighters he fought in the first few fights in the comeback. Well, actually, you go more than the first few for George.
And you have to take a look at the overall picture. This is still only Larry Holmes' 2nd fight back. He still wants to take this a while. He's not ready just to live off this win, provided he wins here tonight.
And that's the end of round number 9. Gonzalez feels that he is on his way to a moral victory in this fight against former heavyweight champion Larry Holmes as they'll move into a 10th and final round. I'm Al Albert along with the champ Sean O'Grady in Tampa. And this is our main event, stretching a little longer past the hour of 11 on the East Coast. And of course we will stay with this to the conclusion. Larry Holmes in his 2nd comeback fight. He drilled Doc Anderson several months ago in April in the 1st round to end that one quickly. And tonight he knew he was in against the survivor and Eddie Gonzalez, and he's getting just what he expected going into the 10th and final round.
Keep the stick in his face. Don't get careless.
Final round.
Is Larry Holmes at this point, coming in the last 3 minutes, know that it's useless to even think of taking Gonzalez out tonight?
Well, you know something? I don't think he's thinking that. I think right here he's thinking, hey, if I can just get this one shot off him, I know this fight will be over. Now, Larry is dangerous in the last few rounds, and he knows it. But in the past, he's not been that one knockout punch artist like he was, like George Foreman was. He's been able to catch his opponent at the right time. Then with a flurry of punches, the referee steps in and stops it. Although I have seen him knock people out and stand them on their nose, too.
Holmes says he's about 75% where he once was in his prime. How would you grade out the once fabulous jab?
I think that is still as fabulous as it was. It's not as quick and it's not as sharp, but he knows to use it. Something that fighters, young fighters today, don't know. It's a shame that Ober doesn't have the experience of Gonzalez, but it's also a shame that he doesn't have the jab of Larry Holmes. Larry's got one of the greatest jabs in boxing, perhaps the last of the great jabs from Holmes.
And we have some boos from the crowd here in Tampa. But Larry Holmes knew this would be a possible ugly fight. Look at what stage he's at right now. And I don't think he'd be too greatly disappointed in the 10 rounds that he's put in. Although it's certainly not one of the magical fights in heavyweight history.
Now, what is going to be interesting if we get a chance to follow the career of Larry Holmes like we did with Foreman is what can he learn from this fight that he can change for the next fight? Something else that older fighters have a real problem with is changing. What can they do new? What can they do better? Some of them want to live off the past, and the fighters of today are not the same ones that were around 10 years ago. Or they have improved over 10 years, while a dormant fighter has not.
Larry Holmes, the pursuer, through 10 rounds. Eddie Gonzalez is looking to survive. Very little offense from Gonzalez in the fight. His best round was the 7th when he got a couple of shots in against Holmes. And it's Larry Holmes looking to bang out the final 10 seconds. It'll be important for him to look good in the closing seconds. Say he had something left. And that is it. And that's a dilemma Larry Holmes will face now. The crowd expecting to see vintage Holmes, and he is far from that. 41 years old, 3 years out of retirement, and this is just the early stage of his comeback, and he will have to make the decision whether the comeback goes beyond an early stage. We'll be back with a decision and talk to Larry Holmes.
Nina, I love you.
When we return on USA's Tuesday Night Fights.
I did it. Meineke profile of the smart and thrifty. There they are. They're not celebrities, they're not millionaires, but they know how to take advantage of life's finest because they know the value of $1. It's no secret, she's very economical.
I clip coupons and shop on Wednesdays.
And how did he contribute to this culinary experience?
I didn't pay a lot for a muffler at Meineke.
Come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, the muffler and brake specialist, where you'll get more life out of your car and more miles for your $1. At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot for a muffler.
Norma, you've got the biggest mouth in this mill.
I'm for the Textile Workers Union of America. Want to read this when you have a chance on your break?
Every time you people come into a town, the folks get thrown out of their job.
If I joined up with you, would I lose my job?
No way.
I want you off the premises now.
No, the union's the only way we're going to get our own voice, make ourselves any better.
Academy Award winner Sally Field is Norma Ray on USA tomorrow at 9, 8 Central.
Tonight's boxing has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by Meineke Discount Muffler Shops. It's smart to come to Meineke.
Ready for the decision. Here's Mark Bureau.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges at ringside have turned in perfect scores. Wilson Robinson, Frank Skilbred, and Darrell Brown of 100 to 90, the winner, former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry
Exactly what he had to in getting 10 rounds, 30 minutes of work in this his second fight in his comeback. Larry Holmes is the winner. He goes to 50-3. And we will be talking to the